Welcome back, everybody. This is Sin. Let's test build stuff. And today I was continuing the test on the 500 cell leash formula to try and help everybody just get a little bit better at building their bases, that they don't have the problem where zombies come up and just beat on their walls. And I've come across a few confusing things. Yesterday we tested a straight way that was 50, which is where I had this flag is, or 500. So we have 500 units at this flag. But today of all days, when we started up a new world, where we don't have any other patches, last time we had it was out in that area, right? And it went all the way to over there in them there hills. But today we decided to do it this way. And I needed a new save for that particular test. And all the zombies are coming from over yonder because I'm close to over here. So we're not getting anywhere close to the 50 platform. Today we're sitting around roughly 33. 33 for the floor tiles and 32 for the normal platforms. So I'm thinking the other factors it is for today is buildings somehow matter in their pathing equation to the player. And that's my thought. I have no real way to actually test that just yet that I can come up with in my mind. So that's a thing. I went ahead and I was like, okay, well, we'll do a whole bunch of floor tiles along columns and try and figure out if that actually counts towards the actual number for the leashing. Because yesterday I built this massive tower that went above the 500 leash, at least I believe it did. And this is part of that. I have to build another set of platforms, and it's going to be using floor traps to see if the floor traps count towards it or not. And I had the help of my son, which, if you notice the chat in the bottom right of the screen, says Yuri Thorngage. That's my son. Don't ask me why they decided to name their person that. But we got nowhere close to the 50 mark on either one. And it's mind-boggling as to what could be the cause. And this is Sin. Let's test build stuff. I've been doing a lot of having to build, deconstruct, and testing. Now, one of the things I was trying to test, and I've tried to cut out a lot of the work that I've had to do on these builds, even though I'm using the console and stuff to make it so I don't have to go gather resources. But at the same time, this is a lot of work just to have to build everything. And one of the issues that I've been coming across is randomly while I'm building, or in the middle of testing, mind you, suddenly the unthinkable happens. The zombies are walking across the test area, namely these floor traps, these spike traps, or floor spikes, and it'll just break. Just completely randomly just break. No reason, because they were not attacking it whatsoever. They were not attacking it, and it just broke. So, okay, I threw down some other traps to see what was going on. Decided, okay, let's take down some of these walls. Maybe I'll just put doors up or something. And while I'm taking down the walls, now these spike floor traps are attached to these columns, right? Oh, look. It just happened. I took down a wall that was nowhere near these, actually. They were not attached to the wall whatsoever, and it just broke. Somebody please tell me if they're having this same issue. Because this is getting real stupid for me. And I decided, okay, I'll put a different kind of trap. And I was going to try this a different way, because I thought when it was happening yesterday that they were attacking the traps and they were breaking the traps, and then in the middle of me trying to capture game footage for the stuff, this happened where they would just randomly break it, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking maybe the floor spike traps may have a bug. I'm not quite sure on that. But I'm going to continue building. I'm going to keep doing testing. And then I got more tests I need to do once I'm finished with this. I'm still trying to figure out which one of these tiles the zombies actually have that count to their leash. What kind of items count towards their leash. And I found more problems. Alright, so here we have our map, right? Each one of these are a representative of a single platform, more or less. So there's 10 in each one of these little grids. Now they don't use all 10 of those to get to you. However, they still do path 10. Alright, we got a fence that goes here, here, and here, and all the way to here. Now, we're 60 platforms away from where the zombies spawn. They'll come all the way to right about here, I believe, and this is where the calculation to the player starts. So, this is where the issue happened. I was over here, the zombies had to pass around this wall to get to the start of the platform for my test, and they would only do 30. So these structures here count towards how long the leash is, and I think the leash starts at the zombie, not the player. So once the zombie gets within, say, 20 platforms on the map, it starts to route the path to the player. Now, I know some of you think that this might be wrong, and you might be right. I don't know. It's part of testing. So, I need to figure out where on this map are all the zombie locations. I need to scout one that I can use that has a flat enough surface with no obstructions to test some of these things. And then I need to find another one that has enough room with a few obstructions to test that theory. Or I might be completely wrong. I have no idea, but the formula seems to be so far that the zombie will path to you 60 tiles so far is what I've tested. I actually need to try and draw a straight line across the map with no obstructions where the zombies will just straight up path to me, or find something to measure this with, because I need to know that first part of the formula on the zombie pathing before I can figure out the rest. And I'm just driving myself crazy. But that's what I am currently up to. I gotta test stairs to see if they count. I need to test which floor traps count. We know spikes and rails count. And the real interesting part, I want to go over right quick, is when I did my initial count for 50, I didn't count these stairs. But at the start of my test, I had this platform all the way out to 50. Standing at the 50 mark. The zombies passed to me no problem. I was all the way back here at 60. I had no problem with them passing to me. So, I was left with a conundrum. Do these floor tiles not count towards the leash limit, or is it the stairs? I don't know. I really don't. Let's see. 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, I might have been misspoken on that one. This is a 50 long, not 60. I didn't finish building the 60 part. But yeah, the zombies had no problem passing to me, and I was questioning because I thought it was 60. But it's still like, okay, they had to go up the stairs. The stairs should count for 2. Or count for 10 for each. Onto that 500 leash. But it didn't seem to be that it matters. So I have to test that as well. So a lot of what I have been telling people might have been wrong. And I want to apologize for that. But I won't know definitively until after I've tested some things. So that's this for this small little update. I will try to upload a video within the next day. It's been almost 3 days since 2 days since I have actually posted anything, but I got so much I gotta do. I've been sleeping in late because I've been doing a lot of testing and being aggravated at my builds breaking. So that's Sin signing off for now. Alright, welcome back. So we've done more extensive research on this particular problem of how the zombies will path to you. What is the formula where they path to you? When do they stop pathing to you? And when, of course, do they actually just don't care about you? And to try and test this, holy crap, I have built an extravagant setup to try and help figure this out. Right? Well, the game really must not like me trying to test out something. I bumped it all the way up to Fortnite 20 to get a massive amount of zombies, so I don't have to look for the stragglers to try and test this out. That's why. I don't know why they're trying to pass to me on that when they should be just passing here. Oh crap. Oh, that's loud. But, it's been different. It's been difficult. Just thought I'd give y'all a small update. But, we're having some issues where they want to stand on cars and things. Or they just do not want to pass. Good grief. Well, zombies are loud. So either the stairs do not count or the floor traps do not count towards the limit. So I went ahead and started multiplayer, built up basically the same platform to try and test that. The testing didn't exactly go as planned. I had traps that should not have broken, randomly break for whatever reason, because a zombie stepped on it, I guess. And it crumbled. I was not upgrading at the time that it happened. I was doing the test to see if the zombies would run down the rail. Apparently, zombies prefer to step on platforms rather than trap areas. So that was the pathing they kept taking. They would step onto the platforms to run down to me rather than be on the actual traps. Some zombies, like the exploder zombie, just didn't care. So, either the steps do not count towards the pathing leash, or they do not path, or they do not actually read the Z axle on pathing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to set up another test where I try to path them past 50 blocks using stairs. That's the next test. Also, I will be building another one of these towers, but this time I'm not going to use these particular traps or anything. I'm just going to be using stairs, and I'll be using platforms, the floor tiles, these heathen pieces of floor that do not want to snap right and drive my OCD crazy. So there we go. Welcome back to Night of the Dead testing on Sin's Let's Test Build stuff. So if you watched my other video, you know this is my Tower of Death that went well above the actual zombie pathing limit that we had previously established. Let's go ahead and get rid of the clutter. Might as well put myself in cheat mode. Give myself invincibility. Dev mode so I can build without resources. Alright, so maybe give myself dev mode. There we go. Alright. Now, I started a multiplayer to test build some items to further understand the zombie pathing. What I found out was that I was missing a part of the formula. The formula that starts at the player is here. Where's the closest spawn point for zombies? I tried so many different things to try and figure out what that might be. But as I tested it and I went through different waves to see different things, on my multiplayer world, I have the same rep, practically in the same location, and at the start, all the zombies were coming from that direction. So I went and I found what bunker they were spawning from. And it was curious, to say the least. On my multiplayer, I also had like a 60 platform right around in here, and zombies were coming from somewhere over here and beating on the backside because they came from a different direction, and apparently they leashed to the player differently. So from my understanding of how the formula works is, once the zombies get within, say, a 20 block radius or 20 platform radius of the player, the leash to the player takes effect. And this leash is what tells the zombie, this is how you'll path to this player. Like we did here, where we found out that this was farther away than Draco Insidious, or Draco Invicious, however you say his name, I can never do it. In his video, he had these at 25 increments. I have mine at 10. So that didn't add up that I could get a farther leash range than him if it was done by the platform. So then it was like, okay, what's the difference? Where's the difference comes in? And it was like, okay, it's leashed to a player in a certain radius. He suggested that it's a radius to the player anyway. And let's just say I've done a lot of math, mental abuse to humans. Zombies apparently love doing this to me. But it was hard to get consistent results. I'll make it to here, where it's like, okay, if we got 50 platforms, and all the zombies come from the same direction, they will leash onto the player at the same distance. Meaning that the AI will register, okay, you have 500 units or 500 cells in which to path to this player. Can you do so? If yes, path to the player. If no, destroy the closest structures to that player to try and get there. So that led us to do a few different tests. The other day we did this one, a mix between walls and rails to see if it could leash indefinitely upon floors. The rails count as a path, right? And that is in part of their calculation on, oh, this rail here makes me repath. Can I go through this rail? No, I must keep pathing. And it keeps subtracting from that leash that we talked about, that 500 unit or 500 cell leash. All right. As far as I know, walls count towards this, so you know it's iffy. So they were only able to pass so far to me on this structure because of that leash length. It is only 500 units, and their pathing does 10, and these rails take up 10. So, out of all those units that it subtracts 10 for each one of these rails to get to here, I've done the math. So anything that takes up units that will subtract away from this is what the zombie uses to path to you. So, I was standing here. They couldn't get to me. They would stop pathing. They would stay right here, right up underneath me, and swing at nothing, thinking they can get to me, which makes me believe that the zombies were kind of stupid. They don't know that you're up there in a way that they can get to you, because it's a broken path. So they read, okay, there are structures here, let's break down these structures. So they get as close as you possibly can to the player, and they start swinging. So there's that. Then that led me to build this tower, which should technically be above the 500 unit leash, which means I needed to test a few other things. That's the next project to take and do. I probably will not stuff it all together in this one video that I'll be piecing together here shortly. But that's something I will be working on. So wish me luck. This is Sin signing off.